set. 5500. Pre-warp. Rotate.
Well, hello guys. What is up? Welcome back to the channel. Oh my goodness, the internet is almost giving me issues already. I'm so disappointed, but we're going to power through this anyway because I am very excited for today's stream, guys. We are back in the Phenom 300. It had a little quick update, some little update notes. So we're running the brand new update here. We're going to be doing a very it's not very short, it's a shorter flight, however, but it is a flight that I've done in real life, and it's actually a pretty unique airport, which I have a lot of experience with in real life, is Sedona, Arizona. So I'm going to be very interested to see how this airplane handles going up there to the high desert, putting it down on a short runway. Hopefully the weather's good. I didn't even think to check the weather, so we'll just have to roll with that one. The internet is dropping some frames there, so you're going to see some stutters in between. It's not the sim, it's not my frames, it's just the internet being crap, and if it just gets too bad, then we may end up just, I don't know, maybe having to reschedule. But there is, Aerobask is in the chat, guys, so Mr. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Fuentes. Mr. Fuentes is in chat. He is part of the Aerobask team, so they saw a couple of last streams that we did with the Phenom 300, and they were pleased with the airplane and the reception it received from the community. So he's there for if you got any questions, guys. He did say he can't really talk about the 8X coming out, so that will be off of limits. But anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are ready to have a good Easter weekend. Swappy-esque, what's up, man? Good to see you. I'm doing well. Hope you're well. Niels Christensen, what's up? Navy Land Sub, CIO 183, Rusty C. Christian, what is up, man? Max Rank, Mrs. Jungle's in chat. David H, good to see you as well. All right, Cam 321 also in the house. And Anthony Anderson, what's going on, guys? A couple more of you there, but I can't scroll up all the way right now. I had to reset my chat box. But weather is not a thing. Checking it is just a suggestion. There you go, Mr. Fuentes. Hi there, I said before. He is from Aerobask, and he's here to answer your questions. So if the stream is super choppy, you know, that's nothing I can really do about it right now. I've figured it out, I think, though, on weather. When we have super sunny days with no clouds and high wind, my internet just doesn't want to behave. I don't know why. I don't know if that's even if that even affects a Wi-Fi signal to the house, but it does appear to be affecting this stream here quite a bit, and it's actually up to 15%. So we're going to just get in here. We're going to try to power through this here. I might actually try to do another router reset if it doesn't seem to settle down, but we're going to give it our best here. So into the cockpit of the lovely Phenom 300, guys. Let's go ahead and pop out the... where am I at here? Wasn't there an Aerobask button over here? Wow, this is a new update, so some little fixes here already, I could tell. Let's pop out that. Let's go ground options here. Open the GPU panel. Ground power panel, please. We're going to go battery 1, battery 2, and we'll also turn our generators into the auto position and connect the ground power. Danny Rubel, what is going on, man? He says, hey, Captain, first time watching your stream live today. Danny, welcome to the stream, man. Unfortunately, the internet's not really behaving too well today, so I do apologize for probably some stutters you're going to be seeing across the stream, but we're going to try our best to complete this flight. If it reaches upwards of 20% frame drop, then I will probably just have to kill it and reschedule for later this weekend. I've been super busy, guys, I know I haven't got much content out, but I have been flying a ton lately. Next week, however, I do have some time off, so we'll expect some more content coming at you next week for sure. But Niels Christensen says, the Phenom 300 is my first Aerobask product and certainly not my last. Niels, I totally agree with you, man. I first saw this airplane here. We'll go ahead and enter the soft key here, get our G1000 up here. I first saw the airplane being reviewed by Q8 Pilot, and I was completely blown away by his reaction to the aircraft. So I said, well, if he's that excited about it, then it's definitely something I need to check out myself. So I picked it up. And I've had experience here with light jets in the sim, and it takes a special kind of developer to get a light jet to feel proper, in my opinion. And because everything that we have in the sim just doesn't feel quite right. They either feel too light or just performance isn't right. This airplane, while I've only really had one flight in a Phenom 300, and it was less than an hour long, from what I can recall, what I can remember, this airplane does capture that feeling of the aircraft. And as you can tell, with the last 3 streams, we've been in this airplane, so I'm absolutely blown away by it, and that's a lot of fun to fly. It's one of those airplanes that is easy to understand, but difficult to master. So it's an easy airplane to fly and to get from A to B. It does a lot for you, as it's designed to with the G1000. It's designed to be a high-speed, single-pilot aircraft, but so you have to reduce that workload, right? But on the same time, it's also a difficult airplane to master. And to be a true master of an airplane, you really do have to pay attention to what you're doing and all that. So let's hop over here. Enough chit-chat. Let's go ahead and plug in our flight plan today. Very simple one. We're going MYF. And matter of fact, I need to pull it up here from SimBrief. It's very simple. We're going to go direct to JLI. Enter that. And Julian VOR. Oh, no. Put it in the wrong spot there. Already made a mistake. Look at me. Let's go ahead and delete that. All right, there we go. Cursor down below Montgomery Field. Then we're going to Julian VOR direct. We're going to go ahead and hit enter. Because the internet is struggling today, we're not going to be on VATSIM. So we're just going to be talking about the airplane. And this way, it's just so much easier for me to maintain a train of thought when I don't have ATC screaming in my ear. So JLI, Shady Intersection. From there, we're going to go direct to the Drake, VOR, DRK, and then we're going direct into Sedona, Arizona. And then we'll load up an approach once we get up and cruise there. We'll take a look at it. But KSEZ is the airport. Very challenging airport if you've never been there before in real life. If it's one of the first times going into Sedona in real life, you do have to bring your A game. It sits up on a plateau. The terrain around the airport makes for a very unique set of challenges when it comes to wind and gusts and airfield turbulence and things like that. So, all right, we've got our flight plan in there. We're not going to load up an approach just yet, so we'll go ahead and... Actually, no, I don't want that. Let's go back to our systems. I don't need you anymore. Oh, got the cursor on there. Get rid of you, get rid of you. And what do I want to look at? Yeah, there we go. So we can see Sedona, Arizona, 5,100 feet long, hard surface. There's all your frequencies. So, cool deal. All right, back over here. Let's go ahead and remove some of these static elements and get fuel on the aircraft. This is one of my favorite things here. We're going to just camera to fuel panel. We're going to open the fuel panel. Let's see. Let me go back over here. 20. What do we need for SimBrief fuel? It says we need 22.9. So we're gonna, because we have an alternate of Phoenix, Arizona. I learned that the hard way, so it's probably not a good alternate, but we'll at least take the fuel for it. 22.9. So there's not a lot, but there's a couple airplanes that have the ability to fuel your airplane, but this one is just so refined and so easy. It reminds me a little bit of the Airfoil Labs King Air 350. I love coming over here and doing the fuel manually like this. So we need 22.9 on the fuel. Let's go ahead and increase that. Oh, actually, we need to decrease that. I guess we can't decrease it. Tank selection. Full. Is our airplane full? Oh, it might be full. You know why? Because we had the new update here, huh? Oh, yeah, that's not fun. Let's go ahead and empty the tanks. Let's just go ahead and empty the tanks. It's full because we had a brand new update, and I left it there. So let's go ahead and go back here. Camera to fuel panel. I like doing it this way. Increase 22.9. Crow, welcome to Commercial Pilot Man. Welcome to the channel. Glad to have you on board. Exclamation point, welcome for more information on your perks. Glad to have you on board as a commercial pilot. Captain Big Mike also joining the channel. Captain Big Mike, thank you. Same goes for you, man. Exclamation point, welcome for your new perks here on the V1 channel. Glad to have new members on board. You guys are awesome. 22.9. Mr. Fuentes says, don't forget to add 2% to your Simbri fuel. We're off by 2%. You got it. So we'll make it an even 2,300. We'll make it a 2,350. You know, that's more fuel than we're actually going to need, because I don't think we're going to be going to our alternate of Phoenix. If we, for some reason, can't get into Sedona, we're going to cut over to Prescott, Arizona. Much closer, long runways. It shouldn't be a problem. So that's good to go. We'll go ahead and open the valve, and we have begun fueling the airplane. Gotta love it. I'm going to come down here. While I'm right here, I'm going to go ahead and pull the chocks. When I pull the chocks, it removes the other static wicks from the aircraft as well. So back into the cockpit here. Let's see what we want to do for passengers. I'm going to do a realistic load here. Let me see if I can. Let me do some calculating here real quick. So I'm going to pull out my handy-dandy calculator. So I'm going to put my weight plus, let's say I have a first officer on this one. He weighs 200 pounds. And let's say we have, 120 pound of cargo times 2. So that's 240. And let's say we have a couple females on at 110 pounds. Let's take 900 pounds. So relatively light load, but we're going to take 900 pounds. 950, that works. 950, pilot, passengers, and luggage. That looks good. We'll see what our total mass is here once we are done fueling. While we wait, let's go ahead and continue with some of our flows here. And we'll actually pull up the checklist as well. Normal checklist. Before start. All right, pre-flight and test. Well, let's go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and start the rotary test, the fire test.
Fire.
You see our fire lights, our cast messages, and the fire panel illumination.
Fire. Fire. Fire.
All right, and let's go over to the next test. There we go, cast messengers.
Fire.
Smoke alarm. Annunciators, they're all on. Stall protection.
Stall.
Check that out, guys. Check the yoke. So this method right here, so a lot of times we talk about a stick shaker when you get close to stalling. This aircraft has what's called a stick pusher. So the stick pusher is almost, when you think about the Airbus and how we have that low speed protection and how it reduces the angle of attack in normal law and prevents the aircraft from exceeding a high AOA, this is a very similar method of thinking here with a stick pusher. This aircraft will actually push the stick in, and you can see it. Check this out. That's pretty cool. You can actually see it pushing the stick in, and then we'll do ice protection here as well. Okay, so that's good. Those are completed. Oxygen bottle, we need to go ahead and push that down. Passenger is in the auto position. Electric panel is good. We got graded 27 volts. We're on the GPU as required, though. Bleed panel, I'm going to go ahead and hide that. Let's make sure we are, in fact, in all automatic over here. So off, ECS will be off for start. That's air conditioning. Oh, I'm sorry, bleed panel. What am I doing? Over here. That was ECS. Auto, and auto. Beautiful. Aaron Hastings, you're arriving late. Not a problem, man. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you on board, man. Crow coming in with a $15 Canadian donation. Thank you so much, Crow. He says, I'm a 30-something VFX artist who regrets not working harder to train as a pilot. Flying in sim is the closest I'm likely going to get. Your content has been invaluable. Thank you so much, Crow. I appreciate that, man. Take some of my my odd plastic money. Crow, thank you so much for your support on the channel. Thank you for that donation. I am glad that you're enjoying the content. That's why I do it, guys. I do this channel because I have a passion for aviation and flight simulation, kind of go hand in hand, and I love sharing it. I love teaching, and I love sharing that passion. So, it goes without saying that this community is pretty awesome to have those passions with. All right, bleep panel is all auto. I got that. Fuel panel pumps auto, cross feed. So that's auto. Let's just verify that isn't auto. Yeah, it isn't auto. Auto cross feed is off. There we go. Hydraulic pumps both open. You can hear the hydraulics coming on. I love that. Pusher cutout. So that will actually cut out the pusher, if I believe. Right, Mr. Fuentes? Oh, he says, note, ice protection needs greater than 72% N2 on both engines to be performed. Ooh, that is very good to know. I have a question. So this pusher cutout, Mr. Fuentes, would this be used to prohibit the pusher from being activated? If there was some malfunction, because we have the stall protection, right? When we do this test here. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong one. Here we go. Let me do it again. So, is that what that switch is for? I'm still learning this aircraft. By no means am I type rated on this airplane, guys. I've just, like I said, we did a demo flight in the airplane when we were looking to purchase one, but we ended up going a different direction. But that's my question about that pusher there. Ice protection and ADS off as required. We don't need any ice protection today. Pressurization and aircraft panel is checked. That's what we need. That's checked. ECS is off vent right now, and air conditioning is off. That looks good for me. Engine fire panel down here. Everything is lights out. We're going to go ahead and put the ignitions into auto. Dress levers idle. Flap and speed brake up and closed. Oh, flaps up and speed brake closed. That's what it is. There we go. Parking brake set and doors closed. All right, so that's good to go. How is our fuel? I think we are done fueling. Yes, we are. So let's go ahead and camera to the fuel panel. Let's go ahead and close the fuel cap here. We'll close that. Back to the normal position. Power that off. We'll close the door. And guys, we are ready to go here. Look at that. And actually, we need to close some doors. So what I'm going to do is actually, let's go over here. I'm going to do this from the outside so we can see it here. Let me move my camera around. Hopefully it's not too choppy for you. I hope the frame drops has settled down. I think they have settled down a little bit. Look, we got bags there. And what's really cool is the bags show up when you have cargo in there. So we'll go ahead and close that hatch, close the opposite hatch. One thing I will tell you guys, when we were demoing the Phenom, one thing I loved, if you watched any of my Citation corporate pilot series, I talked about that thrust reverser clamshell, where any good Citation 500 pilot or Bravo pilot, they all know too well about hitting their head on that thrust reverser clamshell. The Phenom did have more space over here for getting your bags in under the engine. The engine was a little bit higher. Not totally clear if you're a really tall guy, but a lot more room to manipulate back here than you did on the Citation, which was another plus there. So we'll go ahead and close that door. And let's go ahead and close the main door here. One thing that if you ever do pursue corporate aviation and you're the PIC, never let anybody close your door but you. That's one thing I learned just over a couple of years flying corporate on the 91 gig. Now, if you're on a 135 operator, you may have different set of standards. But when I'm the PIC of a jet and everything's riding on me, especially single pilot, I don't care if the owner wants to close it. I am going to be the only one that closes the main cabin door. That way I can verify that it is indeed shut properly and armed. Look at the nice animation there. Ooh, oh, that's just really nice, isn't it? I wonder if we can arm it. Can we actually arm it from... Let's test this. Let's go ahead and close it. I wonder if... Okay, so we're going to close the door. Nice V1 logo there. Mr. Fuente says, correct. Pusher cutout is to avoid your 737 MAX situation. Awesome. Okay, so that's kind of what I thought. So yeah, if for some reason the pusher goes off, you'll be able to stop it. That's excellent. I think... Is it armed? Nope. Nope. Nope, come back. Let's try it from here. Where's the click spot? Let me see. Let me go back up here. Let me see real quick here. Let's go ahead and close the passenger door. I just want to see. Okay, yeah, so that is the latch position. See, so this red handle has to be down. This door definitely more simple than the Bravo door. The Bravo door could be a little sketchy if you didn't know what you were doing. All right, doors are closed. Cast messages look good. Everything is ready to go. I think you guys are ready. You guys ready to start this puppy up? Click that thumb up button, says Robert S. Hell yeah, let's do it. Let's see, what do we got today? We got 118 people watching, only 44 likes. Guys, come on now. Let's go ahead and like the, don't even like it for me. If you don't like V1, that's fine. You got to like the Phenom 300. Look at this ramp appeal. We're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start the switch, and then I'm going to go outside so we can listen to it. So we're going to go start. I love these sounds. There you go. If you don't like anything else, you got to hit the like button for those sounds. From what I read, and Mr. Fuentes, I'm sure he can confirm, but yeah, he will. These sounds are recorded from a real Phenom 300. I'm telling you, they sound amazing. And everyone who knows the channel knows I'm a huge person about sounds. I love the sounds in this airplane. Look at the ramp appeal, though. I mean, that is one of the best-looking light corporate jets in existence. And what does it for me, I wonder, everybody's probably got their favorite. My favorite part is right here. Like, it almost looks like a Lear-type nose kind of goes up, and you get this fairing bulge right here. I don't know what it is, but I think it just gives this airplane an aggressive stance, and I absolutely love it. All right, so again, I don't know 100% if this is a correct technique. This is why we have Mr. Fuentes in chat. I'm going to ask him. So when I started with ground power on the Citation, we would start engine number 2, verify that... oops, hold on here. What am I doing here? Okay. I don't want you there anymore. What is going on here? I'm missing something here. I don't want approaches. Flight plan page. Oh, these are for the fuel. I reset the fuel. I shouldn't have done that. Okay, view. Wide view. Narrow view. Cumulative view. Okay, I don't want that. How come when I turn the flight plan off, I gotta get back to my map page here. Anyway, let me get back to what I was saying. We'll figure that out. So, what I was going to ask is in the Citation, we'd start number 2, confirm we've got a good electrical power, a good generator, and then what we will do here is we'll go ahead and disconnect from the GPU, and then we'll pull the GPU. So let's actually go ground power, disconnect, and we'll close the GPU panel. Now nobody's out there. They don't have to walk underneath the airplane, and then now we'll go ahead and just start engine number 1. You can see the voltage change there too as that draws current. That's awesome. System pages on the bezel to the left. Look at that, Gen 2, powers up, super quick engine start. Want topo, there we go. Now, what I'm saying is, I can't get rid of this. Dimitri, what is going on, man? Welcome to the stream, dude. I love it, man. I love it. Welcome on board, my friend. Good to see you here. Hope you're enjoying Good Friday long weekend. You as well, Dimitri. The aviation bulge. Yep. I'm a sucker for sharklets, says Bryson. All right, I got to figure this thing out here. Why can't I get rid of... this page here? Map view. No, back. Am I missing something? Active flight plan. And then I turn it off and now I'm on the airport page. Oh. Hold on. Nearest? No. 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 Hold on. Stand by. I'm on waypoint. There we go. Got to get back to the nav page. Jeez. See, that's one thing about the G1000 is if you think you broke it, just keep twisting buttons until you figure it out. That's really the only way you'll be able to get it. All right, that's good. Let's go ahead and hit flight plan again. Yeah, Sam, thanks. I figured it out eventually. All right, after start checklist, let's actually do a couple things here, though. Oops, what did I just click? Ice protection. We don't want that. ECS is going to come to both. Emergency lights not armed. I should have armed those. That's my bad. The nav should have been on as well. I got a little sloppy here. Let's go ahead and fix all this here. That's emergency light arm. CAS messages are clear. And let's go ahead and pull up a chart here. We're going to taxi away from Montgomery Field. Let's pull up the 10.9. Oh, you know what? It doesn't even have a... We don't have a 10.9 page now? What's going on with that? Oh, that's weird. Oh, my Navigraph isn't, hold on. Let's reset it real quick here. Avi tab, let's reset the tablet. I think because I booted up. There we go. We're logging in now. I rebooted the airport or the my router when I was loading in. That's what happened. Let's pull up our 10.9 page. No longer need to plug in admin. All right, here we go. We're at Montgomery Field. We're going to taxi out the 28 right via Juliet Hotel Alpha. And that seems good for me. Can you hold down the clear button on the Garmin's after like 3 or 5 takes you back to default page? Phantom 320. If that's true, you're an absolute hero because I did not know that, and I will definitely do that next time. All right, brakes off. Let's do a cinematic taxi out here. Goodbye, Montgomery Field. It's been fun. 10 for 10 on the camera work there, huh? Let's get out of here. Nice little Piper Navajo over there on the ramp. Used to fly those around. All right, here we go. We're going to taxi out via Juliet Hotel Alpha, all the way 28 right. And I'm going to just look at my normal checklist real quick here. Make sure we did everything. After start, GPU is disconnected. Stall protection tested. Takeoff data. Ooh, we'll set that short of the runway, so we'll just hold it there. We got to set our V-speeds. We'll hold them short of the runway. Dimitri says this plane has a very loud PTU. Yeah, dogs went off there. Hold clear. Yeah, everyone's saying hold clear. Well, next time I will hold clear. Thank you. Let's go ahead and set our transponder. We're just going to squawk VFR. And I think we're going to get really close to touching wingtips here. Let's see. I think we'll be all right. Very tight here in real life as well. If you guys remember from the very first stream I did in this airplane, this is the airport where, right here in this spot, I had a boo-boo. May or may not have allegedly went off-roading in a citation. But that's an alleged story. No damage was done. Mr. Fuentes Savion, I heard you were moaning about the fact that the manuals were not in Freedom units. We will keep the metric system supremacy on that aircraft. Ah, man, you're killing me. Yeah, that was the only thing I said that when you pull up the charts here, so we'll go back. I keep doing that. Because I think it's the actual checklist. When I go to our performance here, and we're going to go to our takeoff speeds anyway. This is N1. Well, you can vary your N1s. I'll probably do videos on how to read these charts. But yeah, this is the only thing you got to be careful about. All these weights that you see here when you're calculating your V-speeds are in kilos. So if you're like me and using Freedom units, make sure that you actually use the kilo when you're looking for your V-speeds, or else that may burn you. It burned me on one of my very first test flights, and it was an interesting situation. So just keep that in mind. Maybe one day, maybe in the 8X. Is the 8X going to... Oh, I guess you can't talk about the 8X, but got to have those Freedom units, man. I am just thoroughly impressed that I have them here. Like, I can handle the manuals being in metric as long as I've got pounds over here. This is what I care about. So I'm super happy that we have pounds in the airplane. I don't know why more developers don't do that. I feel like we have more airplanes on X-Plane that lack the ability to switch to pounds. Although that's kind of changing, you know, that is changing now that I think about it. Tolis came out with the pounds and everything, so that was good. But it just drives me nuts when you have a beautiful airplane and everything's in kilos, and I'm over here trying to figure out the conversion. And if I wasn't a real pilot flying with pounds every day, I think it wouldn't bother me as much. But the fact that when I go back to work and then half of me is thinking in kilos, I feel like I'm going to screw something up. So that's the only reason. That's really the only reason. You want to see plenty of flare when landing? We'll see, man. We got the synthetic vision on right now, which is pretty cool. Left that on. I personally, just my personal preference, I wouldn't fly with synthetic vision on unless, you know, you're going into terrain. I think it makes the instruments a little bit harder to read in the real airplane as well. I mean, any G1000 or any system with synthetic vision, I like it when you're actively using it. You know, you're flying down low, you're getting ready to shoot an approach or something. But just, you know, flying over the coast, probably wouldn't have it on. But we'll leave it. We'll rock it right now. Seth, welcome to the stream. This is X-Plane 11 man. We're in the Aerobask Phenom 300. 100 likes prior to takeoff. Ooh, can we do it? We're at 67. We got 100 likes before takeoff. We got to do a couple things short of the runway here anyway. We're going to get our V-speeds, and we're also going to set our altitude and heading for climb out here. We're going to vector ourselves since we're no ATC. We're just going to take a nice cinematic departure. We'll actually make a left turn southbound over San Diego for cinematic purposes. Just listen to these sounds, guys. Just listen to the sounds as I taxi by here. Let me get the camera. I'm going to be quiet. Absolutely amazing. All right, we'll pull it up to the hold short bars here. Sam says, yeah, the cool thing about synthetic vision is it shows the runway. I agree, man. That's kind of like having that mini visual approach, but just like you're saying, it's just kind of distracting. I think it just might be my eyes. You know, everybody's different. All right, let's go ahead and set the brake here. Lights can come off here for a minute where we hold short. I've held short on these hold short bars here for way too long, because if it's busy out and you're trying to take off here, depending on the traffic with San Diego and SoCal approach and departure, you could be sitting here a long time waiting for a slot. So I've burned a lot of Jet A sitting right here holding short of 2.8 right. All right, our current mass is 6.9 kilos. So let's look at that, 6.9 kilos. And you know what, before we do that, let's actually get the weather. That might be beneficial. Phantom 320 forgot to get the weather for me and set the altimeters. It's another, it's getting ready to be fired again here before we even take off. 3004, light and variable, not a problem. Temperature outside is 15. Wow, that's standard day. So 15 degrees, 6.9. Let's pull up our chart here. This is for pressure altitude minus 1,000. We're gonna not use that one. We're just gonna use 0 because it's pretty much set. Flap 1, dry runway, ice protection, wing stab, and engine off. So, temperature 15C, total mass 6.9, which is, let's below that there. So, let's say we were total mass was 7,000. $104, 104, 117. That works for me. We'll take the more conservative number here. Oh, I just messed up my fuel. Oops, wrong one. V-speeds. 104, 104, 117. Now, I know there's a delay on stream. Hopefully I can get this through. I have a question for Mr. Fuentes. The reserve, the max takeoff power available. So we have Toga, but then there's also a reserve. Are there situations where you're able to use that? Like, what would determine if I'm allowed to use like reserve takeoff thrust? Is that maybe only an emergency situation, or can you plan to do a takeoff with max available thrust. My initial instinct would say probably not. It's probably only for emergencies, but I don't know. So I'm curious what you got there. So our V speeds are set, flaps are set, 0, trim is in the green, 7.5. Last thing we need to do, let's clean it up here with the checklist and let's get out of here. Before takeoff config. Ooh, yeah, we should do that. Brakes off.
Takeoff. Okay.
Takeoff okay. CAS is checked, signs, PFD belts off, yaw damper is off, ice protection as required, tested and set. He said, let's test it because I want to see it here. So we got to go, 78% into? Is that what we needed to do? Or 72%? Let's just see if we can do... Wow, ice detect fail. Look at that. That's cool. So yeah, you have to have the bleed pressure to actually test it. Okay, cool. So we tested our ice protection. ATR will be green. Below the line, passengers advised. External ice test required. Transponder altitude. All right. Transponder code, we're going to squawk 2000. And altitude. Transponder squawk altitude. There we go. We're going to go up to 15,000. We'll sync our heading bug as we take the runway. You guys ready to get out of here? I'm ready to get out of here. Take off on the flight directors. XP72, what is up, man? Welcome to the stream, dude. Glad to have you on board, my friend. XP, guys, if you haven't already, check out XP72. Dude's a legend. Love hanging out there on the streams. He's been very consistent, knocking out the content. I like to just hang out in the background, enjoy the atmosphere. Loving it, man. I love your streams, XP. I may not always be chatting, but a lot of times I'm there hawking in the background, especially when you're flying that Airbus, man. But glad to have you on. All right, we're going to line it up. Let's sync our heading bug, and we're going to take off 15,000 on the heading straight out. You guys ready? Let's do it. I'm going to spool them up here. We'll stabilize. Let's do it. Take off ATR green. Yeah, see, that synthetic vision is driving me nuts. $80 knots, thrust is set. V1, rotate. Oh yeah, positive rate here up. Whoa. Oh my gosh, I love it. Let's go roll pitch. A little excessive there. Let's go flight level change. Spin that heading bug, 330. $170. Oop, handed her a bad trimmed airplane there. It says transponder is automatic. You only need to set standby. Ah, that's right. Yeah, the G1000 goes mode Charlie when you're airborne. Okay, that's cool. I didn't know it was actually implemented there with the automatic mode. Man, look at that crosswind already. Gosh, I love this airplane. All right, we're going to spin it around. I got my heading book bound. Hopefully we'll be able to see some of San Diego. We're going to do a cinematic departure here. Orbix HD. Gosh, I love it. So juicy. Dimitri, you gotta love those sounds, man. The flyby sounds in this airplane are pretty spot on. I know you're a big sound guy yourself. Bryson says this thing can fly. This airplane can rip, man. It really can. That was one thing that when you're coming from a straight wing citation, the boss wants something a little bit faster. And when you're thinking that single pilot mentality, how do you... keep going back to it, is how do you get an airplane that's faster and be single pilot and still be safe? Is you got to have a really well balanced airplane so the load can be managed by a single crew member, and it sure can. The airplane does a fantastic job of monitoring systems. Very easy to manipulate the flight management system. Let's go ahead and continue to increase speed here. We're looking for about 220 in our climb out. That's what we go to. Let's also bring that thrust back to continuous climb. I'm a little late on that always, but hey, a little extra thrust never hurt anybody. I just can't get over these flyby views. Let's go ahead and do another flyby shot. And that auto transponder mode is implemented. Well, there you go, guys. So I'll show you real quick because I've been doing it wrong. G1000 automatic transponder. So you can see here it's in altitude mode. I'm squawking 2000. But if you were to just keep it in standby mode, and then when you take off, it'll actually go to altitude mode for you. So you don't have to come in here and set it manually. But it's always good to check, make sure you are squawking altitude. All right, we're 10.6. We should probably, let's look outside real quick here. It's going to be pretty loud. Look at that. San Diego downtown. I know I'm deafening you guys here probably a little bit. Doubletree Hotel. One of my favorite overnights. Get the Doubletree cookie. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and turn it around. Let's get on course here instead of burning gas everywhere. We're at 10,000 feet. Let's also go ahead and clean it up here. We'll go ahead and get the landing lights off. We'll go ahead and turn the signs off. And you know what? We're going to go flight plan. We're going to go straight direct to Jillian VOR. Activate you. And nav mode is on. Yaw damper on. Always hand the airplane a well-trimmed airplane. So you notice when I turned the autopilot on after takeoff, the trim actually kicked out. Trim starts running. And it's good practice. In the sim, in any sim, it's hard to kind of grasp this concept. But the Embraer 170 was the same way. If you handed the airplane a poorly trimmed airplane, or I guess I should say if you handed the autopilot a poorly trimmed aircraft, when you disengage the autopilot, it was poorly trimmed as well. So it's always a good practice to make sure the airplane is trimmed out. You trim those flight control pressures off. You get it in a state that you want it to be in, and then you turn on the autopilot. That's just good practice. You know, with the Airbus, you don't trim. It doesn't really matter. And I'm not entirely sure how the flight control logic or the autopilot logic works with this airplane. I imagine it's pretty similar to any light jet like the Citation and other small aircraft. But good practice, guys, is always trim out your airplane before you turn on the autopilot. That could help you in a dire situation as well. You know, you don't want to turn off the autopilot during an emergency and all of a sudden the airplane's untrimmed and you're not expecting the flight control pressures that were hidden by the autopilot. All right, we're getting ready to go through 18. We'll go ahead and set standard. I love being able to do this on the window there. And because I know you guys like to see it, but just my personal preference, that's the G1000 screen I like to see right there. So we're gonna turn that off for now. Let's make sure we do a climb checklist. Landing gear is up, flaps are up, yaw damper is on. Thrust levers are not an MCT. We'll go ahead and do that. Yeah, no, they are an MCT. Dude, that was good. Pressurization coming up, looking good. Up 3,100 feet, we're still climbing. That looks good. Altimeter's cross-checked, ice protection, and exterior lights are set. There's 18,000 set standard. Flyby shot. And we have wing flex. I mean, I know I seem like I'm really promoting this airplane, but guys, I'm telling you, there's something that is extremely satisfying about flying an aircraft that is easy to fly, easy to manipulate, but difficult to master. And I'm nowhere near mastering this airplane. I intend to continue to work on it. I think you're going to see this airplane quite a bit. Plus, we've been flying so much airliner stuff on the channel. It's nice when you go in this corporate side of things. We get to fly into airports that we haven't seen before. We haven't done any short runways and little corporate jets, and you get to fly into some nice, neat terrain areas. So I think it's a good breath of fresh air here for the channel a little bit here to get on some of this corporate stuff. But I'm thoroughly enjoying the airplane. This one through and through is just really, really well done. What was our cruise altitude? I do not remember. Let's just make it an even 30. That sounds good for me. We're at 220. Let's come over here. Let's look at our system. Fuel calculation. Fuel remaining 707 gallons. That looks good. Right now we're doing 1,200 pounds an hour. Fuel is balanced. That looks good. Status page. Hydraulics, oxygen, brake pressure accumulation, all in the green. Anti-ice is off. You can see that all the valves are closed. We're good. So this airplane, let's talk a little bit about anti-ice, de-ice. This one's pretty cool. So this aircraft has a heated wing, an entire heated wing. Now on the Citation Bravo, I talked about this a little bit on that corporate series. You actually had a mix of anti-ice system working for you. Now this is a good shot here as we go over some terrain. So the Bravo had a hot section here, and then it had a boot section out on the outer end. And the reason for that being, actually I'm going to see if you guys in the chat can answer that. So you guys are familiar with the de-ice boots where you have to get pneumatic pressure and then you blow the switch and what happened is the boot expands and it pops the ice off. But why would you always want to have a heated section on the inboard side of the wing? So let's go outside. I'm going to turn the X-plane way down. All right, so as we're climbing out, why do you think that is? Why do you think you want to always have a hot section of ice here on the inboard? I'm not saying that every airplane is that way, but it's a good idea, and I think we're actually just leveling off, unfortunately. Oh well. I'll have to pull that thrust back. I'm actually going to pull it back just a tad here. A little choppy as we go over the mountain range. Sergio says, V1, do you watch the Flight Channel? No, I do not. I think I've seen maybe a few videos on YouTube of the Flight Channel, but nothing that I watch on a regular basis or anything. Louis says the synthetic vision on the Phenom is great. It doesn't take any FPS away. I totally agree, man. The synthetic vision is really good. It's really well optimized. Yep. Sam's got it. Ice into the engine with the boot. There you go. Huh. I wonder if you guys have watched my corporate series or you're all just that smart. But yeah, the Bravo, when you see an airplane, I know the Bravo's got them. There's a couple other Citations, straight wing aircraft. They're really susceptible to that. But if you were to have a boot all the way across here, when you pop that ice off, where's it going? It's going to go into the engine. So this airplane has heated wings and heated nacelles all the way around, all from the bleed system. It does take a decent amount. Let's see if it. Let's actually do a little test here for testing purposes. Actually, windshield heat I believe should be on anyway. Look at that windshield heater goes on green, and we're going to go ahead and turn on ice protection. Look at the valves opening up. That's pretty cool. What about wing and stab? Look at that. That's pretty cool. Now we got all the heats on. You got your CAS messages, but we don't need any of that. We'll go ahead and turn that off for now. ADS probes in auto. That's an Embraer thing. ADS probes. We do not have pitot tubes on Embraer aircraft. Do not call it a pitot tube. That is insulting. It is an Air Data Smart Probe. We'll go ahead and bring the thrust back to cruise power. We'll see where we level off here, or see where our acceleration is. XP72 says, V1, do you find that the small plane like the Phenom handles a little too twitchy in the pitch axis? XP, I have not experienced that in this airplane, and that is why I believe this airplane is one of the better modeled ones. Now, I run a pretty... let's take a look into it here, because I have a standard pitch curve for my honeycomb yoke, and I don't know if it's because the... where's the response curve in pitch? So this is what I run on pretty much all my pitch in the honeycomb yoke. I run this across all aircraft. I've made this profile. Some people say that theirs isn't very stiff. in the pitch. My honeycomb yoke feels very stiff, and so to minimize the force required is I've put this curvature on there, and I've kind of made this a standard curvature, and then if I need to tweak it for a specific airplane, I'll tweak it. But this is what I run across all my airplanes, and I think it's really good for flying all light aircraft. I mean, the biggest thing when you're talking about desktop simulator is I think when you have a yoke on your desk as opposed to the actual yoke in the airplane, when you have flight control forces that you can trim away, it's hard to mimic that. And the best way to kind of mimic that, I think, is through curves. And when you're doing pitch, you really, unless you're doing stall training, you're really not going to be up here in this range of motion, especially in a corporate jet, right? All your movements are going to be maybe half scale deflection, if that. So in the sim, I find this really good. You guys can go ahead and screenshot that, pause it, post it in the Discord if you want. But that is my standard curvature I run on all airplanes, and it seems to work out pretty good. Mr. Fuentes says, I'll be AFK. See you in 15 minutes. Mr. Fuentes, thank you again for stopping by. I appreciate it. Hopefully you'll be here for the landing and see me. Hopefully we don't ball this thing up on the end of the runway. All right, let's zoom our range out here. We're looking good as we get ready to cross over Phantom 320's territory. Would you guys want to see the cockpit, or do you like the exterior view? I get a couple comments that say I don't want to see wing views all flat. I just want to see the cockpit. So, what do you guys in chat? Do you like cruising in the cockpit, or do you like cruising outside? We'll leave it here. This is pretty cool with the mountain range coming up, though. Nat Winger 142, he says, I believe that ice got into an engine of a CRJ that cost the pilots to land in the forest with no engines. That's not good. Sam says, man, this plane is one of the most impressive jets ever developed in XP. Sam, I agree with you. And there's a lot of people, somebody made a comment on the last stream that said, you know, it's when you have a light jet and it's designed for a single pilot to operate the aircraft, it's going to be a relatively easy airplane to operate because you have to think about it in real life, right? You're going to have the more auto features you have, the better it is for the pilot in real life. Now, in sim world, auto features can make things less exciting for a flight simmer because we have less switches to manipulate. Now, there's a fine balance between making it unrealistic and making it realistic. And I think this Phenom nails it because when you look at all the other options, like in the manuals, you have all your performance charts, you have your V-speed calculators. These are all things that we do manually. We got to look at our weight. You have the fueling that you can go do and pump your own fuel. So it's little things like that that add to the tasks or the required operations for us as sim pilots to do, really make the airplane more enjoyable to fly, in my opinion. Because, yeah, when we look around the cockpit here, you know, look, we got things on. We got our pumps on auto, our crossfeed is off, but, I mean, everything else is pretty much auto. Your heats your air data smart probes are in auto, so you fly in icing conditions. You don't even have to worry about turning those on. Now, in real life, I may turn them on manually just to double check. I don't need the wing stab on. Pressurization, it's auto. What else is auto? The ignition, the whole ignition sequence is auto, right? You just click that to start, and as long as everything is set up right, it starts up really quick for you. So there isn't a lot to physically manipulate in real life either when you're flying an airplane like this. So in the sim world, you have to have other features that make it enjoyable. And you look at, okay, let's look at the systems depth. I mean, we've got, you know, all your systems page that we can monitor. You've got your fuel pages. Everything here is all modeled, and it's these little details that make a product seem extremely well polished. And that's what I love about this airplane. It is extremely well polished. Too many times in X-Plane specifically, how many times in X-Plane do we get airplanes that just aren't finished, right? And you're in beta mode forever, and you're just missing features, or something as important as a VNAV isn't working. So that's why, you know, it's hard to really get that balance of immersion and authenticity and fun. And this airplane has that perfect balance across the board. That's why, I mean, when's the last time we flew the same airplane 4 times in a row on stream? This is how much, and I even did one members only stream in the Phenom as well. Like, that's how much fun I'm having with this airplane. Captain Big Mike says, do you prefer the F-14A, B, D, C, or F-18? Well, definitely the F-14 over the 18, Big Mike. And I prefer, well, the D model is the most hardcore, man. I mean, if I had to pick one, I'd pick the D model. You know, you start talking about the differences in HUDs. Like, well, how are they outfitted? Do you have the Sparrowhawk HUD or not? But I think, you know, the most badass F-14 is going to be the D model. But for fun purposes, like if you're referring to digital combat sim, I do like flying the A model just because of the challenges it presents with its weaker thrust to weight ratio engines. So that's kind of my opinion on the F-14. All right, everything is laid here. We got our wind data, 47 knots on the nose there. Let's go ahead and hop back outside and enjoy some of the scenery. And we're going to turn next plane way down again so I can think. Look at that shot. I cannot wait. Somebody text Elon Musk and tell him I need that Starlink because I'm seeing this in 1080p. I know you guys have your own sims, but this airplane is so beautiful, especially over this Orbix HD. Sam says, something I like to do for fun in the sim is check out systems pages just to see what goes on behind the scenes while an airplane is flying. I love it when devs get those pages super accurate. Sam, I'm right there with you, man. That's especially if you're in cruise, you got a longer flight, you know, you're looking around. What is going on behind the scenes? Definitely. Got to have those systems pages modeled. It really adds to that, you know, management mentality. Like, okay, we're up here in cruise. What do? Let's look at our systems. Let's manage the fuel. Let's make sure all the pressurization is doing what's supposed to be doing. If this airplane didn't have any of that, you know, then you would start thinking about, man, I wish it doesn't feel finished, but it does. You will not be disappointed, I tell you what. US APR1, he says, good AV1, have you tried the Challenger 300? I have not tried the Challenger 300. Funny thing is, the company that I used to, or the owner that I flew for, I believe they have a Challenger right now, so I think that's the airplane they settled on. When we were looking for a different airplane out of the Bravo, they ended up going with an XLS, same citation, and then a couple of years later they went into the Challenger. But no, I have not flown a Challenger 300. Palace says, does a co-pilot come with the aircraft? Yes, it does. Or is it some kind of plug-in to help with the workload? Aerobask Eclipse showed passengers correctly, but only looking from outside in. Yeah, so there is your co-pilot. Comes with the airplane. Oh, yeah, look at that shot. Danny says, I'm learning so much. Good, man. I'm glad. Sergius says, did you fly the single V1 when you were corporate? Yes, so I did not fly the Phenom, Sergio. So I was flying a Citation 525, a 550, a couple of the CJ models, the CJ1, or yeah, CJ2, excuse me, CJ2. I flew CJ1 in the right seat. But a lot of those light jets were single pilot. Now the Bravo, which is what I have the most time on, and the Citation 550, and then you look at the Bravo model, there's just some minor updates. Now, the 550 Bravo, by definition, in the POH, in the pilot's operating handbook of the airplane, it says required crew member 2. So it is, by definition, a 2-crew required airplane. However, the FAA allows for a single pilot waiver if there's a certain set of the stipulations that have to be met, and you can get a single pilot waiver for the Citation Bravo. So you think, you know, if you're owning your own airplane, it'd be cheaper to pay one pilot than to have 2 pilots, right? So we actually had 2 owners that we worked for. One owner preferred and would pay to have 2 pilots up there. So we were both, you know, we'd switch off one leg, and I'll be in the left seat, or the next leg, he'll be in the left seat, would switch off. But if you're flying with the other owner, more often than not, he just wanted one guy, and you would just fly it single pilot. So then the time came, well, let's think about getting a bigger airplane. They kind of wanted something with an APU. The Phenom 300 was real hot then. It was just this, I believe it was 2009, right, when the Phenom was coming out, the 300. So it was a hot airplane to the market, fast, good performance numbers. But I think it just, in Arizona, we wanted an APU. I mean, you're talking about 120 degrees, 115 degrees on the ramp all the time in the summertime, and the air carts, the ground carts that you would use in corporate aviation to keep the cabin cool just doesn't really keep up all the time. So we really wanted something with an APU to run on the ground, wanted a bigger lav. Speaking of lavatories, hello. Speaking of lavatories, we talk about detail. Let's come back here. Let's enjoy the lav, shall we? This lavatory is probably one of the most exciting lavatories in X-Plane. If you haven't already seen it, let me blow your mind here. So first off, if I was an owner of a Phenom 300, this is probably where I would sit for all takeoffs and landings, because this is the best view. You got the engine, trailing edge, and the wing. That's kind of my favorite view on an airplane. Now, fun fact, the Bravo actually had a seatbelt on the toilet, so you could legally fill up the airplane and then have an additional seat as the toilet. Someone would just have to sit on the toilet with the seatbelt. I don't know if there's a seatbelt modeled here or not, but look, you have your toilet here, and you can also, once you're done doing your business, actually, you know what, let's do this proper. Should we close the door? We'll close the door here. Do your business, and then we can go ahead and flush the toilet. This is the detail that I'm talking about. Now, some of you guys may think I'm silly for doing this, but I have a weird thing. I always test. This is the true test of aircraft add-on complexity, is how well is the lavatory modeled. If you've been around the channel, I check almost every single airplane lavatory out. Now, let's come over here to the handy-dandy sink. We've done our business. We still can't use the soap, Mr. Fuente, so in the world of COVID, unfortunately, we can't use soap to wash our hands. But we can go ahead and wash our hands here. A little too bright, no worries. We can go ahead and close that. You know, maybe, or if you're on the ramp, that's bad. If you're on the ramp and you got to use the restroom, definitely want to go ahead and close those window shades. But that's good. Can't use soap though, so 0 for 10 there in the world of COVID, but 10 for 10 on everything else. Little spoiler for you guys here. Somebody showed me this. Look at that. What do we have here? What do we have here? A Falcon 8X. Yes, sir. I am absolutely pumped for that airplane. I was trying to talk the boss into a Falcon 50, but that airplane is way more expensive to operate than a Citation, as you can imagine, with 3 engines and the fuel costs. I just thought they looked absolutely badass with the three engines. I'm a huge 3-engine fan. We also shared our hangar with a 7X Falcon, but I got to go in and meet the guys that were flying it. Look at this. You have an iPad here where you can just check, oh, let's see, well, I've got all my options here. Well, I can go to my Avi tab. Let's go home. Let's look at the maps. Look, I can pull up the map page here, because my internet sucks. I'm sure it would load eventually. But, I mean, here, you can pull up our airports. You know, let's go ahead and clear this out. It even looks like it has a screen protector on it. SEZ. We'll load it up. We'll get ready for Sedona. Actually, what does the weather say? Oh, good. 07013 gusting 17. Beautiful. 10 miles clear, 20 degrees already, nice and toasty. Airport. This is what we're going to be landing on. We're going to have to start prepping for that here pretty soon. 5,100 feet available for landing. But look at this. I mean, this is the detail I'm talking about. You have up here in the cabin. Would you like to see your time of arrival in Zulu time? Montgomery Field, Sedona, Arizona. Wi-Fi, the seatbelt sign works with the switch in the cockpit. Well, come on, this is unbelievable. Oh, is that a pillow? Is that new? Here we go, another tray table. You guys want a bottle of juice? Would you like some tea? Danny says, okay, not going to buy it. I can't use the soap. Here you go. Now, you just have to go in the lab. Bring some Purell wipes, man. Flight deck wipes. All right, down here we got the New York Times. I mean, this is the type of detail that I look for in an airplane, especially a light aircraft like this. Is you gotta have this if you want to be in the discussion for best of the best add-ons. All right, how are we doing up here? Let's go back to our flight plan. 127 miles, 124 miles to go to Drake. I guess I could see that up here as well. We'll start planning our descent and arrival. Everything else looks good here, 82%. Let's go ahead and bring the thrust back. Let's do 77, see if we can save a little bit of gas. We don't need to be ripping right now. We're burning a lot of gas. Let's do a flyby shot. Jeez. Look at this. That is awesome. So, like the TBM 900, TBM 900 is very fast in real life and in the sim, right? Phenom is a very fast light jet in real life and in the sim. I mean, we're clipping along here at 30,000 feet. We're doing 7.4 Mach, 280 indicated, and I've got the power pulled back. We could probably bump it up. I know you can do, what, 7, almost 7.8 Mach up at altitude in this airplane. So it's a fast bird. So what you need to have fast sounds. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but doesn't this just sound fast? I mean, I love it. All right, we'll start planning our descent here in a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go outside view, so we'll turn X-plane down again. I need to get that volume bar thing that everybody uses. Turn it down a little bit here. All right. While we are looking at that, let's kind of look at Sedona. So the winds were 0.7. So that's almost straight out of the east. We'll probably land on 3. We're going to discuss that here in a minute. Length of next plane may differ from real life. Oh, great. I do have an add-on Sedona, though. I have the X-Coders or SimCoder Sedona. Very beautiful airport. Approach GPS runway 3. This is what we're going to load up. Now I wanted to see if I could find the... I wanted to see... There should be a slope. I know Sedona is sloped. Now, you guys may be able to look this up in Google, but there was a site, I believe it was a citation. There was a corporate jet. There was a corporate jet that crashed in Sedona. It went off the end of the runway. I was actually flying around Sedona at the time. I don't know if it was a Phenom. It might have been a Phenom. Maybe one of you guys can pull it up. It would have been probably mid-2000s, 2010, maybe 2010, 11, 12, 13. In there was some type of corporate jet crash in Sedona, Arizona. And the reason, among other things, was the choice of landing that they landed on. I believe, if I have the story remembered correctly, is there's a pretty significant slope here on the runway. And you either have two ways to go about your approach and landing. You can either land upslope with a tailwind, in most cases, or you can land into the wind on a downslope. So maybe someone can pull the article and actually tell me what the incident was. But I believe that played a factor in why the airplane went off the runway. They went off the runway. They landed on runway 3. They went off the end on 21 and went down the cliff. And I remember hearing, when I say I was flying Sedona, I was literally over the top of Sedona. We actually saw or heard the ELT go off. So it was, because you're monitoring guard all the time, and it was incident right there in Sedona. Another fun fact, my wife actually worked at Sedona Airport up here at the Arizona Sedona Air Tours, the helicopter company. Turbulence may be experienced in the vicinity of the airport. Airport is 400 feet on a mesa. So you are basically landing on an aircraft carrier. It's isolated runway. You've got unique wind. Helicopter operations restricted. We're not worried about that, but that's all over here. Main terminal is on the left. Birds and wildlife on and in the vicinity of the airport. Runway 3 is the calm wind runway. When landing runway 21 during strong southwest wind conditions, strong downdrafts are very probable northeast of the approach end of runway 21. So there is all sorts of terrain out here. When you're coming in and landing 21, it can get pretty sketchy. So we are going to be landing 3 today anyway, since it is the calm wind runway, but the winds are also favoring runway 3. So we're going to be landing 3. We'll load up the GPS 3 as a backup. Landing runway 3 here, PAPI angle 3 degrees, width's 100 feet. Pilot control lighting, we don't need to worry about that. And everything else is set. So there's our 10.9 page. We've kind of discussed that. Circling runway 21 not authorized at night. That's because of the terrain. Transition flight level is 18,000. Not a problem here. We may even we're just going to throw this in. I'm not going to do a full brief. We're not going to do a full GPS approach. We're going to go fully visual. We'll just go VFR into Sedona. But I just wanted to kind of have that in there for reference. So what we'll do here is we'll just go flight plan. We'll go procedures, select approach, and GPS runway 3. Let me zoom in here so I can see what I'm doing. And we want to load it from, you know what, let's do it from Juso, because we're going to be coming from Drake. I think that'll be the best option. We'll go ahead and turn minimums on. With the baro mins are going to be, we're going to be coming in, what was our speed? I think we're going to be a cat C. Well, we might be B. Either way, since it's visual, I got to look at our weight. We're probably going to be cat B, but yeah, we'll do 6240. We'll do 6240. Look, you can do it right here. And actually, you can do 6240. How awesome is that? Oh, uh-oh. What do I do? 6240. 6240. Negative? No, how do I enter? Enter. Nice. 6240. Don't even have to scroll it. You can just enter it. I'm just going to load it. I'm not going to activate it. And let's go ahead and step down now to flight level 240. We are 75 miles from Drake. Actually, we got to do a little calculation here. So Sedona is 35 miles from Drake. That's right now 100 miles. We need to be coming down there at 8,000. That's 22. We'll go ahead and step down. Let's do a step down to 240. 24,000 feet. I'm going to select a flight level change mode. I will sync my speed, and we're just going to go ahead and walk that thrust back nice and gentle as we come on down. 24 blue, flight level change. Here we go. Any tips for visual 320 landing? Bryson, I have a video on my channel about the visual approaches in the A320. I think I did landing practice where we just stayed in the pattern. If you haven't already, check that video out. I think I talk a little bit more about how to just do visual approaches in the 320. So it's landing practice A320, I think, something like that. Check it out, man. That would probably be the best information I can get you, because I think I went pretty in depth, and I landed all 3 aircraft. I did the 19, the 320, and the 321, just all visual traffic pattern work. Let's see. Let me scroll back up here. I'm sorry, seat back pockets. A seat back pocket. Thank you so much, man, for the donation, $5. I apologize, man. I saw that go off. I was engrossed in something there on my chat. I apologize. Thank you for the donation. This is a B2 Lewis script, works like a champ. Seat back pocket. Thank you so much, man. I gotta write that down. I gotta get it. Thank you so much. I will check that out. Thank you again for your donation and support on the channel, Seatback. I really appreciate it, man. All right, so somebody said it was a Phenom 500 in 2012. I have one in 2011 with a Phenom 100. Oh, so there's been, let's see, 2011 seems right. Phenom 100. Okay, so it was a Phenom 100 in 2011. That sounds right. I think that 2011 is correct. That would be correct. The Phenom 100 all survived. Yeah, it wasn't a fatal accident, but they went off the end of the runway, and again, it had to do with different factors, right? You got wind, you got sloping runway, you got a short runway, you don't want to be landing long. So all those factors come into play. They stack up, the accident chain is against you, and you go off the end of the runway, and before you know it, your spotless career is now in a ditch off of Sedona runway 3. So you got to be careful. You got to bring your A game coming into this airport. If we're going to be long, there's definitely no floats on this one. If I feel like we're going to be long, I'm just going to go around. I actually haven't even done a go around in this airplane yet, so it would be kind of unique to see that and experience that here. See how it handles. But I'm going to be real hard on myself. I'm going to be down 1,000 footers. I believe there is markings on this runway. If not, it will at least be the first third of runway. And if it's not, we'll just do a go-round. I kind of want to see how it handles. I do not have the Toga button modeled or bound yet, unfortunately. So I'll have to look for it again. Maybe I don't know if they changed it in the update, but I have it set Toga. I have it like engaged Toga mode, and what it does is it moves the thrust levers to Toga, but I don't get that Toga flight director command bar. All right, almost 1,000 feet to go. Captain Geo, what is up, man? Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Hope you and the family are well, Captain Geo. Look at the captain stripes on Captain Geo, all silver. Noticing all silvers there. Dimitri's got silver stripes as well. That's some hardcore members. XP72 has the silver stripes. Awesome. Danny says it was November 224 Mike Delta from, yep, that's the one, San Jose. Crashed at the end of the runway down a steep embankment. Nobody died, but the pilot, one passenger, sustained serious injuries. The photos look pretty bad. Yeah, that is the one, Danny. I was flying that day right over the top of Sedona. That was a big deal because I'm 90% sure that is the right one, 24 Mike Delta, because I think I knew somebody who knew the pilot on that aircraft. That was a Phenom, so we don't want to be the next. We don't want to be the next Mike Delta into Sedona today. As we level off here, let's get our thrust back up, and we'll do an even 300 there, just about 299. That looks good. Fuel is good. Landing field elevation is 4,800 feet. So when we talk about stable approaches, a good window for you guys is when do you consider yourself to be stable? 1,000 feet. But we want to be 1,000 feet above touchdown zone. And if you're trying to figure out how to calculate your touchdown zone, or maybe it's just last minute and you forgot what the touchdown zone is, just look at your pressurization schedule. The same thing for the Airbus. If you look at your lower ECAM, it will tell you LFE. LFE is landing field elevation. So you just take that number at 1,000 feet, and that's your MSL altitude that you want to be stable at. Now, whatever your stable approach criteria are, that's what you want to be at. So with this airplane, I want to be at least flaps 3, gear down. On this particular approach, I want to be fully configured by 1,000 feet. That's going to be my goal, fully configured, gear down, flaps full by 5830. So, heck, let's just call it 5,900 feet. That's my stable approach window. You don't want to be looking at your rad out for this, because a rad out on airports, especially like Sedona, when you have the terrain like it is, your rad out's going to be going crazy because it's a bowl all the way around Sedona, and then it sits up on a plateau. Wojtek, what is going on, man? Good morning and welcome to the stream, dude. Just in time. We're getting ready to start down into Sedona here for our Phenom 300 landing. So let's go up to, there's Cottonwood. Here's Sedona right here. Let's see if we can look at it on the map. Yeah, Diego, there's cliffs all around Sedona. So I'm going to zoom in on it here. We'll see. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Max rank, silver stripes in the house. There you go. You get your silvers too. So here we go. Tabletop mountain. Right here. So here's the airport, guys. And it's kind of hard to see. But look at the terrain. I mean, you've got a cliff on all around on all sides. This is your approach. Now, it's really fun when you're doing traffic pattern work and you're coming in here and making left traffic, because some guys go left to West Twin Butte, some guys go to the right of it, but you've got mountain peaks all around here. This is where, when you've got a really strong north wind, northwest wind, this is where it can really be gnarly, because you get some really crazy turbulence on the approach to 2-1. Today we are landing 3 though, so it shouldn't be too bad, but if I'm not mistaken, I think 3 is actually the down-sloping runway. I should know this. I want to say 3 downslopes. I don't know. But we're going to be landing 3. All right, after we pass Drake, 30 miles, we want to be 10,000 feet above. And if it's landing field is 15,000, so we're going to be looking good. We're going to be looking real good here. We want to be about 15,000 feet over Drake. So we'll actually go ahead and start trickling down now. We'll go ahead and set 15,000 feet. Flight level change. I'm going to walk it back just a little bit. Nice shallow descent. Let's pick up the weather for Sedona. The latest and greatest. 07013, gust 17, 10 miles clear. Altimeters are 3011. Let's go ahead and set 3011 here. Inches of mercury. We'll wait. Well, I'll forget because I'm streaming. In real life, don't set your altimeter until you actually cross transition because that can bite you as well. But on stream, I'm going to set it now so I don't forget. And let's pull up a checklist. Start a descent checklist. Descent checklist, approach briefing is completed. We're going to be doing a visual approach. We'll back it up the GPS just as a reference. I'm not going to be really following any glide path vector. You may see it full scale deflection. We're going to be doing a visual approach, but I just have it for distance and reference information. Landing data, let's go ahead and set that now since we are on our descent. So I'm going to come back here to the ground options tab. Our total mass is 6.48 kilos, so 6.5. 6.5. So we need to go into page 63 of the performance manuals here. Scroll to page 63. Dimitri says, thank you for reminding me that I have that payware from Xcoder. I'll take the Mad Dog there later today. Ooh. Yes, sir. That would be a challenge. Yeah, the Xcoder Scenery Sedona is pretty good. It is a little bit heavy on frames, though. But we should be all right. All right. Flap 1, wing off on, wing stab off. Landing flap 3, we want flap full charts. Approach flap 2 and landing flap full. Ice protection off. And we said our weight was 6.5 non-freedom units. So our weight here, we'll take 6.6 and 6.4, extrapolate the two. So 10, we'll call it 108. Yeah, 107, 107, and 122. How's that sound? Well, we'll just take the middle number. So VREF 107. VFS is 122. VAC approach flaps 6.5, 107. Wow, we are either entering some significant wind reloading there. What is going on here? Let's go vertical speed. Let's shallow this out 2,500 feet a minute here. Hit a nice little turbulence coming in. All right, we're going to descend all the way to 10,000 feet. Let's buckle everybody up. Maybe we should just do a tour. Al W, DFW represent, my friend. He says, according to NTSB, 2.1 features the 1.9% downward. Okay, so that's, yeah, I wasn't sure which way I had it. So they chose to land on the upslope, but maybe they had a tailwind? Is that on the report? I could have sworn there was some tailwind factor that played into it. Okay, so at least we're landing upslope. 3 is the best one to land on. There's 18 descending 10,000 feet. We're 25 miles from Sedona. There she is out there in the cliff. So I'm going to go ahead and just select heading mode. I kind of want to do a tour of the area here. It's so beautiful up here. So Sedona Airport is up here. Red Rock Nation, man. Definitely a beautiful place to fly. Giuliani, what's up, man? He says, how are you doing today, Captain? Hope you're doing well. It's been a few months since I had a chance to watch a stream. I think this landing at Sedona would be awesome. Can't wait. Well, it's gusting winds, and it's going to be interesting, so let's give it a shot here. I'm going to go flight plan. We're going to actually no, since we're in heading mode, let's just go ahead and activate the approach. And I think I was slacking here on my descent. Yeah, we're definitely going to be a little bit high. Let's go nav mode for now. Juso was at or above 8. A little bit high, a little bit behind the 8 ball already, but that's all right. We're going to set 8,000. Flight level change, 250 knots. Down we come. Are you still using default weather? I heard there are some server problems. Well, that would be it. Yeah, I've got default weather on right now, Christian. I had X-Enviro on. Maybe I should try X-Enviro, but I just doing 70 frames right now, man. X-Enviro just hurts me. It's another flyby shot. Any chance to get a quick brief on what's to happen? Yes, Mr. Fuentes. So we are on our descent into Sedona. We're going to do a visual approach to runway 3. We've got our V-speed set. We've got everything set. A little bit high here on my descent profile. So I may do an extra turn out, but other than that, we're looking good. Did a lot of, so for those of you that know, I mean, I was an instructor in Arizona. Did a lot of flight training, took a lot of students up here. Burned a lot of avgas around these towns, Cottonwood. You got the mountains out here, Flagstaff's on, or I'm sorry, Prescott's just on the other side. One of the first date of my wife, I took her in a Piper Aero up to Sedona, Arizona. So that's kind of neat. Went and had dinner. First date, pretty good date night if I don't say so myself. Scott, welcome to Private Pilot, man. Welcome. Thank you for joining the channel. Exclamation point, welcome. If you wanted more information about your current perks, I'm going to go heading mode here. We're going to fly past executive and then we're going to turn back. And we're going to keep on coming down to 6,600 feet. And out of 10,000 feet, lights are on. And let's go ahead and see if we can walk her back to 200. Oh, that's a little aggressive there. Let's see what I mean about the speed. You don't want to do that as a corporate pilot. You really want to be smooth. 10 knots at a time when you're in flight level change mode. We're doing a little tour of the mountain range here. Look at that. So what is the elevation of the airport? About 5,000 feet. 5,000 foot elevation. It's like 4890 by definition, but about 5,000. Al W says probable cause the pilot's unstabilized approach and excessive airspeed during approach. See, there you go. So Phenom 100 crashed in Sedona. Excessive speed on approach. We do not want to be that guy, right? So let's go ahead and turn heading mode. We're going to continue to slow all the way down. Our VAC 107. So we're going to keep slowing down. I don't want to, I could use the speed brakes, but this is what you do. If you're ever in this situation, you're flying a corporate jet around and you're a visual with the runway, just do a little S-turn. Don't use the speed brakes, the spoid brakes. Make a lot of noise and your boss is like, what's going on, man? All right, 1,000 to go. I'm actually going to sync us up here. Let's go flight plan. Oops, nope. Juso, Exudi, Lyrit, direct to Lyrit, enter, nav, approach. We're going to do visual. We're going to hand fly it. I just want to keep slowing down. I'm going to set 107 here on the speed bug. Won't be able to pay attention to chat here, guys, as I get ready for the approach. 107 is set. We have replay mode, so we'll be able to watch the replay. Do have a little scenery bug over there. I could see it already in one of the mountains. Yeah, right there I can see it. Alright, volume is up. Everything is good. Here we go. Right turn is 035. That'll put us on a vector to final. Here's the airport right off our right-hand side. Use a little bit of spoid brake here to get me back on speed. Let's bleed it off. Gear coming down right away. Flaps 1. What did we say? About 4,900 feet we want to be config full, gear down. Love this bird. Safe go-around altitude is 12,000 feet. So if we do have to go around, we're going to set 12,000 feet. It's a visual approach, so we will fly the go-around manually.
Minimums.
In sight. There's your minimums. Autopilot's going to come off. I'm going to hand fly it here. Let's get back to our VREF speed, about 107 knots. Should have done a landing checklist before I turned the autopilot off. Oops. Don't do this. Phantom, why didn't you do the landing checklist? Landing gear down 3 green, flap set, yaw damper is off. Speed brake closed, go around, set, ice protection as required. All right, whew, checklist complete, and we're still stable and semi on center line, so that's good. A little bit more speed here, a little bit more speed, VREF -3. Fuente says, tip, spoilers are inhibited with flaps greater than 0. Yes, I discovered that. If you extend flaps 1, now you're hosed for the spoilers. So spoilers will only deploy if your flaps are in the 0 position. This airplane is very much fits the saying of it will not slow down and go down at the same time. It just does not want to do it. So either slow down first and then descend, or go down and then slow down. I'm going to sink my heading bug there. Man, it is gusty right now. Jeez. Trying not to throttle jockey. You really want to be smooth on that thrust if you can. That's why you got that N1 chart, so you can see your weight and you can see what your approximate N1 value should be. So there are no 1,000-foot markings on this runway, so I was mistaken on that. So we're aiming for that first third of runway. If we're going to be past it, and we're just going to do a manual go around. Still on the LPV slope there. I'm starting to see the pappies are kind of hard to see because it blends in with the terrain there and the scenery. Max Rank, I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. Landing check is complete. Chiropractor armed.
500. 400. 300.
Oh, there's the 1,000-footers. Okay, I thought they were on this runway.
200. 100.
Oh my gosh, the bottom just fell out on me there. Uh-oh. All right, let's go around. Go around. Go around flaps. Wow. Positive rate. Gear up. Jeez, that was a gnarly gust of wind. That is so cool though, because let's fly this go around first. All right, turn out. And to help myself here with, let's go fly level change. I'll talk about it here in a minute. So we came across that mountain right as I came over the plateau. I don't know if you noticed, but we had an extreme loss of performance and we almost kerplunked it, right? And you heard the engine spool way up. And then as soon as I came over and we were about to touch down, go ahead, Emma, we'll get out of here. As soon as we were about to touch down, we came out. So it's kind of that seat of your pants flying, right? Where you got to feel it. So we felt I didn't feel it because we're in the sim, but you saw it. We lost all of our performance. And then as soon as we eclipse the tip of the runway there, we've got a huge gust of wind and gain in performance, and the airplane just started climbing away. It's like it just started flowing, because if you add wind, you're adding performance to your aircraft. Oh, that's too much. I don't want to descend here on the go-around. 190, there we go. Let's keep coming around. And I'm flying a visual go-around heading, but we're not flying the published by any means. And we're actually going to level at, let's do 9,000. We're not going to go all the way up to 12. Oh, so we missed it. Let's go 10,000 on the altitude. We'll just resequence back for a visual approach, but that'll be cool to watch in the replay. Palm sweat turned up to max. So that's the thing where you don't want to force a bad landing, because I was like, oh, we almost bottomed out and had a firm landing. You could hear the thrust spooling it up to kind of cushion that descent. And then all of a sudden we got a gust of wind to increase our performance, combined with my increased spool up, and we just weren't going to touch down. It was just too much. So we made a good decision to go around there. We got plenty of gas. I'm going to take us out a little bit northwest of the field here, then we'll resequence back in as I destroy your ears. Sorry about that. That was really loud. But that was a good decision in my book to go around. So let's go ahead and resequence ourselves here. I'm going to go ahead and set another descent down to 8,000. I'm going to go ahead and reduce speed. We'll do a 180 knot descent. So I'm going to bring that thrust back. 180, flight level change. We'll keep working it back. I might turn that option off of syncing flight level change. Mr. Fuentes, I know you have the option here. So G1000 flight level change mode does not synchronize with autopilot speed. In the real aircraft, do you know, how does it work? Is it like that, or in the real aircraft, if you do a flight level change, does it sync with your indicated speed right away? That's my question. Because sometimes I like it to be able to sync like this, but then other times I'm like, maybe I could just do it manually. I'm curious what the real airplane does. So that's my question for you. All right, we're resequenced, though. We're going to just fly outbound here. We'll come right back around and vector ourselves in. We're going to try it again. If it looks bad going down, you can always go around. You got it, man. I wanted to see. I got to study the book for a go around. I don't know what the flap requirements are for a go around. So like I know in the Airbus, it's go around flap. You just go one step up. I don't know if it's one step up in the Embraer or up to one. Maybe you know. You can tell me. But I got to work on that go around procedure for sure. But it handled it fine. I mean, we had plenty of power, plenty of thrust. Let's resequence ourselves here. We need to be at 6,600 feet again, so let's just go ahead and keep coming down. We were on speed pretty much all the way. What I'm going to do this time is no, we're lighter. We just got to be very cautious of that performance gain over the top of the hill there. Use a little bit of spoid brake here. I'm actually going to reactivate the approach, activate vectors to final. Actually, let's just do activate approach. Nav it up, approach mode. 1,000 to go. We're going to fly through the course there, so I'm going to go direct. Redirect us here out of the turn. Okay, Peter says it does not sync in the real plane. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that option on then, because I want to see that. I want to try to keep it as real as possible. So it is nifty to have it automatically sync, but now that I know that it doesn't, which I don't think, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how I remember G1000's working. All right, I'm going to just bug 107 again. I've got manual control of the thrust. Airport's in sight. Let's resync my heading bug here. Let's try this round 2. Actually captured the glide path already. Let's go ahead and gear down early. Up here, high density altitude. Look at that. Let's go flaps 1. If you haven't already, hit the go down for that. Hit the like button for that go round, huh? Jeez. Flaps 2, we're coming all the way back to 107. We're actually getting ready to approach our minimums already. Have a course turn here, 035 now. Flaps 3. Minimums. Flaps full, landing checkers before I turn it off. All right, landing gear, down 3 green. Flaps full are set, yaw damper. We'll go ahead and turn that off. It's off. Speed brake crows, go around altitude. We're going to set 12,000 again. Oh, watch the speed, watch the speed, watch the speed. That's all I need to do is stall it on this approach, huh? 12,000 is set. Highest protection is off as required. Well below ref. Let's go ahead and bump that up here. This is what I'm talking about. An easy airplane to fly, but difficult to master. You can see I'm nowhere near a master, but this is what makes flight simulation fun, man. I love this. There's our minimums right there. Let's go. I'm going to go autopilot off. I'll hand fly it again. VREF 107, ref plus 3. All right, so I'm going to be anticipatory of that wind shift there over the mesa. Ref plus 1, we're looking good. Landing checklist is complete. All checklists are complete. Runway is in sight. Let me resync my view here. There we go. I can see the runway a little bit better. I mean, it is gusty for sure. Alpha says, let's hope this approach is smoother with the no dive. Dive. Yeah, right? I mean, I thought we were going to smash into the runway. That what came over, just the performance was dead gone. Literally dropped everything. And then as soon as we got on top, more performance. So I felt a little bit low when I was following the LPV. I was kind of following that LPV because I can't make out those pappies. I'm going to really see if I can see those pappies this time. There is a huge illusion, though. You're always going to feel like you're low because of the way the terrain is, but realistically, you're not. A little bit better on the trim this time, too. I wasn't 100% trimmed, I don't think, on that last one either. Ah, Fuente says, with such headwind, I would fly VREF plus 5. Okay. That's good. Good call. We'll try to keep a ref plus 3 here or so. I'm used to the Airbus, man, just telling me what my VAP is with the wind. There we go. There's ref plus 4. Little extra juice in case we get that bottom fallout again. Right on the path.
500. 400. 300.
Look at, there it is again.
200. 100.
Whew. Spoilers. A little bit of brakes here. Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sedona, Arizona. A 129? I'll take it. That's a butter for me on this runway. 43 feet above threshold. I mean, I swear it felt like I crossed that threshold at 10 feet, but we were 43 feet above the threshold, 2 off the center line. When in doubt, go around. We made a good call. I felt it want to do that dropout, but we were there. We saved it. Let's go ahead and clean up the airplane. Kill the strobes as we clear the runway. We're going to go park at my wife's tour company. Let's see where it is. So she actually has a van with her face on it. I don't think it's in the scenery. I think it's over here. Let's go this way. Whew. Much better sight picture, I agree, winging it. That first one just didn't feel right all the way down, man. I don't know what it was. I just didn't feel comfortable. Let's do our after landing checklist. Flaps plus speed brake, they're up and closed. Exterior lights set, ice protection is off, cabin pressure out at 0.2 psi differential max. We are 0 psi diff, so we are good to go for opening the door. You can't open the door if you're pressurized. Ask me how I know that. I mean, this is a very FPS heavy scenery, and this airplane we're getting 50 FPS. That's awesome. So the FBO is over there, but my wife's touring company is over here. There's her van. I don't think they have her face on this van, but in real life she's actually on the van. So we're gonna go park over at her tour company. This is where the helicopters park. So we're going to park over here. We're in the VIP. We won't take a helo pad. We're going to park right here. VIP parking, though. And actually, I probably should have spun it around, huh? Let's do that. We're going to do a little... This is the funnest part about flying jets, man, is taxiing on the ground. I love taxiing airplanes. Let's go ahead and we're going to whip it around here. A little bit of differential thrust. Don't take my wingtip off. Went a little too far. That's all right. Close enough for government work. Brakes are set. Kill the light. Let's do ECS off. And auto ignition's off. I'm going to kill number 1. And I'm going to simulate an awesome ground crew. Open the GPU. They hooked up ground power for us. I'm going to switch over to ground power. And I'm going to open... Actually, I'm going to shut it off, and then we're going to go outside real quick here. So we're going to go... Anthony Anderson says, great stream, V1. Hope everyone has an amazing Easter. Thank you, Anthony. Take it easy, my friend. So who is the VIP we flew to Sedona? We'll just say it's my wife. I flew her there once before. No chiropractor bills today. Good job. Good looking out, Captain. Thank you, Dimitri. Just got here, but sold at MYF way back when. Awesome, Captain Shark. Good to hear it, man. All right, I'm not going to do a full proper shutdown procedure because I want to see if we can do some replay. I want to see that first, was it that first go-around? So I'm not going to do a proper shutdown procedure. I want to just back her up here. Hopefully the sim will behave. I think this is our first touchdown. Yeah, here's our, is this our go-around?
Minimums.
Nope, because I'm really slow on that one.
Minimums.
All right, here's the go-around. Let's go ahead and just let it play for now. John says, if I may ask an Airbus question, absolutely, man. When selecting a star, what's the difference between via versus transition? I only ever select the latter. Via is simply a term, John. So when you get a climb via, that means you want to comply with all the restrictions on the star. Oh, I'm sorry. I get what you're saying. You mean between approach vias and the transition? John, so there are some approaches that will actually have a runway-specific transition, and it will be dependent upon the runway you select. So if you select an approach via, you can pick a specific waypoint and link your star all the way to a specific transition waypoint to put you right on the ILS approach in a seamless transition. Sometimes selecting the transition only works, but it's just dependent on the star and how the star is written. I think there's an airport up in the Northeast that we use approach vias so quite a bit. I can't remember the name though, but essentially that's what you're doing. You're just making a seamless transition between the arrival and the runway. Mr. Fuentes, if you have time, I have up for a chat after the stream. Mr. Fuentes, let's see, it's 1:30. Oh, actually, unfortunately, no, man. I'm sorry. I got to run. I need to be out of here by 2, so I got to clean up some stuff. But I'm going to be streaming this airplane probably more next week as well. So if you're around, we can definitely chat some more. Guys, give a positive rate in chat for Mr. Fuentes, a partner with Aerobask, or he is part of the team at Aerobask, putting this wonderful airplane out for us. So give him a positive rate in chat. If you haven't already checked out the airplane, I highly recommend that you do so, because this airplane, guys, I'm having a ton of fun. I wouldn't lead you astray. I'm telling you, from all the airplanes we have in Flight Sim, there's something about this bird that is just very fun to fly. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying every bit of it. The link is in the bottom of the description if you go to the add-ons too, if you just want a direct link to the org store. So once again, thank you, Mr. Fuentes. All right, let's take a look here at our approach. So we're ref 107. We're ref -1. We're going to watch this from the cockpit. So here we go. We start dropping out. I'm starting to lose. I'm adding thrust.
400.
We're still losing. We're still losing performance.
300.
All right, now we're out of the gust. Right here.
100.
Look at that drop. Look at the thrust. So this is going to be sick from the outside view. So right as we come over the lip, the performance just dropped out of us. Listen to this. And we almost touched it. We almost touched down. We almost had it. But then it started to go away, and look at that. I'm at low thrust and we're still climbing. Watch it one more time here. This is actually pretty close to being a very firm smash, guys. So watch the N1s here. I'm going to play it out in, it's too slow. So I'm dropping. Look, I'm commanding more thrust. The engines are still spooling up, and we're just dropping out of the sky. We're 600 feet per minute descent rate. We're ref -1. We're losing all of our performance. And I was able to salvage it here, and now you could see, look, I've immediately brought the thrust command back because I know I added a lot of thrust. So here's my blue carrots, the engines, and these engines are actually, they spool really quickly because they're relatively small. So the thrust is still trying to spool back. We actually almost had a really nice touchdown here. But then what happens is we have a gust of wind. So this gust of wind, I mean, we're near at idle and we're still just climbing away. Too much performance. We're going to be too long. Now I initiate the go around. And we're out of here. That's too cool. Let's watch it one more time from the runway here, and I'm just going to play it back. Listen to the thrust changes on approach. This almost sounds like an F-14 doing a trap. I'm going to turn up the volume. Headphone users use caution, but the sound is epic. So check this out. All right, so let's go ahead and go to our landing. All right, X-Plane, stick with me here. Here's our actual approach. We'll watch our actual landing now. Captain K says, would you be interested in a ride along with the DCS World Blue Angels? Captain K. Yeah, man. I'd sit back and watch that go around. That would be epic. Alpha Hunter says, I love this airplane. I love, too, that it's harder to land and tame it than you first think. Great stream, always entertaining and informative. Thank you. Appreciate it, Alpha Hunter. Thank you so much, man, for stopping by the stream. All right, let's analyze this approach here. So this is one where we actually did nice touchdown. We're reffing plus 2 or 3 here. So this was a good call on Mr. Fuentes' part. I was flying right at ref and a little bit below ref. I don't know what I just wasn't thinking. I should have bumped up some additive there for my approach. I mean, the Airbus does it automatically. You should do it in any airplane you fly, even a 172. I mean, if it's gusting 17, 20 knots, you're going to need to bump up your approach speed. So a little sloppy on that first approach. This one, we're much better. We're ref plus 4 here. We've got a little bit more wiggle room. Pay attention to the thrust commands over here. So a little bit of gust there. We're still okay. Much better sight picture coming over the threshold. So there's actually a nice little performance increase right here. And you're going to watch the thrust as I pull the thrust way back because I'm actually getting that balloon effect as I'm eclipsing this cliff. But because I'm a ref plus 3 or 4, I start walking that thrust back. We're coming down to ref. There we go. Here comes a little bit of sink, a little bit of thrust. And we're touching down. Dude, I will take that. Look at 7 knots versus like 17 knots on approach. Look at this. Look at this transition of wind. Like we're 15 knots of wind right here. And at touchdown, it's 7. So let's check this from over the runway view here. Blown a little off center line there. And we'll touch it down. Nice wide runway. Center line was 2 foot off. I'll take it. Let's do a Dougal view in memory of Dougal here, who's, I don't know if he's watching behind the scenes or not, but let's check it out from the wheels. Wow, that's loud. Keep that wing down. There we go. We'll settle down. Nice and easy. No float. And then the brakes kick on. I love it. All right, guys. Like I said, I got to be running out of here by 20 minutes, so I do have to get some things together. I'm going to get the music playing. I'm going to back us all the way up. I'm going to let you guys watch one more approach uninterrupted without me talking. You can enjoy the sounds of the airplane. I'll turn sail down a little bit so it's not too loud. Everybody who, first off, huge shout out, Mr. Fuentes. Thank you for coming along on the stream here, being able to talk and answer questions about this wonderful Phenom 300. Thank you for being part of a great team that put together great products so people such as myself and everyone in chat can enjoy the aircraft. Mods, thank you for hanging out and moderating the channel. Any new members? We got new members today. Thank you so much for joining. Sponsors, donors, thank you. Everybody else just hanging out in chat. I love you guys just as much. Hit the like button for me, please. Hit the like button for me on the way out. Wow, that's going to be really loud. Until next time, guys, stay safe, stay healthy. You'll be seeing much more of me here come next week, come Monday-ish probably. We'll be in this airplane again at some point, I'm sure. Have a wonderful, happy Easter. Again, stay safe, stay healthy. I'm V1. See ya!